brings the kind of virtues and attributes that Oregonians want in Washington. A man who's doing it because it's the right thing to do, a career politician. He understands the U.S. Constitution, understands the destructiveness of binge spending, understands how destructive it is to be massively raising taxes, especially on small businesses, and wants to repeal Obamacare and replace it with something that's oriented to helping the patients, not bureaucracies in Washington.
Well, as I told the people at our breakfast, I'd like to say that he's picked me out as the superior candidate to all others in the country. But my wife used to work for Forbes magazine and Steve previously. I met with Steve about a month or 6 weeks ago. We had a long talk and he decided to be supportive of it.
What do you think this endorsement will do for your campaign?
Well, I think it gives us a huge boost. I think Steve is a nationally respected businessman, a man who understands public policy, written several very insightful books on the economy, and so I think he's a man with very high respect. He has a good following. He's on Fox News. So I think having him come to Oregon is a huge boost to our campaign and gives us a real credibility among a lot of people who matter to us in moving this campaign forward.
You're still behind in the polls. Obviously, Wyden is much lower than he was 6 years ago, but what do you think needs to be done to gain those percentage points?
Well, I think Wyden is polling right around 50% or a little less in some polls, and that's about as good as it gets for him because everybody knows who he is, and although surprisingly not many people know very much about what he stands for, at least in our polling. So I think what's going to move it is as we get closer to the fall when Oregonians, voters start paying a lot more attention, we get our message out. There's no doubt in my mind that there's a majority of Oregonians who agree with the arguments that I'm making and who are very unhappy with what's happened in Washington over the last 18 months or 2 years.
Huffman, he's our man. If he gets in the millionaires, nobody cares.
My final question is, these protesters over here are saying that you are like in the pocket of big business. How would you respond to those allegations?
Well, I'm kind of humored by it, I guess. I really have very little connection to big business. I've been an academic my whole career, 37 years, as a law professor and a law dean, and so if I'm in the pocket of anybody, it's probably higher education, but my colleagues at Lewis and Clark wouldn't agree with that because they disagree with almost everything I think. So, so I think it's a silly charge.
It's a desperate charge by a party that knows that it's lost the faith and confidence in the American people. Jim is in favor of the entrepreneur, creating an environment where people can start businesses, run businesses, not be crushed by taxation and foolish and excessive regulation. He wants to free people. Washington wants to, in effect, crush them with bureaucratic regulations. That's the difference.
And I'd add to that, my son is an entrepreneur here in Portland. He has 4 restaurants, one of them not very far from here. And I understand what the challenges of opening a small business, and it's not simple and easy. And that's where jobs are going to be created in this country. It's small business, entrepreneurs. Big business is important as well, but if we want to restore jobs in this country, we've got to restore the possibility for entrepreneurs to succeed.